It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Magical day to all. Welcome to Divas That Care Network. I am Joyce Benning, and I will be your host for this invigorating, robust lifestyle show. I would like to thank all of our listeners that are listening to this podcast on the numerous different platforms. I am just so very grateful and thankful for each and every one of you. And you are all in for one magical show, as I have with me my returning incredible diva, Lidia, Lady Apona, and her and I are going to chat about chewing for health. Oh my, is this going to be one great show? So with that, Lidia, could you please introduce yourself to our listeners today?
Well, I'd love to. Thank you so much, Joyce. I always love being on your show. It's such an honor and pleasure. And I'm a Renaissance woman, a high-performance wellness coach, and the founder of AponaHealing.com. And I bring together my 30 years of passion, expertise, and wisdom in holistic healing into my 4 pathways for every stage of personal development to help you heal, grow, and evolve as you journey towards reclaiming your sovereignty and living a centered, connected, and conscious life. I became involved in holistic healing on my own personal quest to heal my chronic health conditions that I was born with, and I was guided through dreams to macrobiotic healing foods that have been a huge part of not only my healing and recovery, but also in creating my highest quality life in any circumstance. It's one of my favorite mantras. I create my highest quality life in any circumstance. And we love to have tools to help us manifest that. So macrobiotics is not just a diet, it's actually the understanding of life itself based on the original ancient science of yin and yang. And I've actually put together 12 ancient universal principles as a roadmap for one's life, as a guide for life from those yin and yang principles. But today we're going to be talking about something very practical: chewing for health. So in macrobiotics, when we do health and wellness coaching, we always have included lifestyle recommendations and focusing on healthy habits. And chewing is something that we often forget about in our busy lifestyles, but is so critically important to creating our physical and mental and emotional health. So any questions about any of that before we get started, Joyce?
Oh, I'm just so intrigued because I love the microbiotics are just healthy habits. And like you said, chewing is something so simple, and it seems like sometimes I look at people and I go, did you even taste that the way you inhaled it?
Yeah. We want to have some time, from the time the food enters your mouth.
Exactly. So yes, I'm really excited to hear about chewing for your health. But that was one thing that came to my mind when you said that about chewing for health and the microbiotics or healthy habits. And you see so many people and you're like, did they even taste the food?
Well, I have to say, sometimes I'm guilty of that when I'm drinking like cooling fluids if we're out on the farm doing hay and
Yes.
humidity. And I have to remember the principles of making sure I even swish the fluid around in my mouth, and not just have the drink go from the container into the back of my throat. When you're sitting and working outside, right?
Exactly. On those hot days when you're doing hay.
Exactly. Especially all the dry chaff, right? That gets in your throat. But one of the great things about forming habits is the awareness of the habit. And so, as I mentioned, now that I'm aware of chewing, then I remind myself of it in any circumstance, whether we're outside doing work or sitting inside with family eating. It's the awareness then that connects us to the habit that then supports us in the greatest way.
Oh, yes, I so agree with you because you have to be aware of it first and then you can connect. So, yes, that was very well said, Lydia.
Yeah, so we can be centered, connected, and conscious and live our highest quality life in any circumstance. So chewing, there's so much to say about chewing. So in macrobiotics, we talk about the importance of digesting food. And so we choose foods that support our health. And then how we prepare the food or cook the food is also a part of the whole considered digestive process, so that it's easier for the food to digest. And then ultimately, chewing is, as you mentioned, it's something that anybody can do. It's something that we naturally do. And we can focus on that gift that we have and enhance it to support our health in every way. So the first thing that we want to do when we are thinking about chewing is to breathe. So we want to, before we eat, even if it's a snack, we want to do some deep breathing, whatever technique someone wants to do. It can just be for a few seconds, just to help open up the energy and to help relax the organs in the body. And breathe and relax before we sit down to eat. And also while we're chewing, while we're eating, we don't want to hold our breath. We want to breathe so that we can be more conscious of chewing and relaxing our whole body and system. So chewing is really the externalization of digestion, and it helps to slow you down. So when we start to chew, then it actually helps to clear our mind, and it will help break patterns of nervousness, of tension, and of disorientation of thought. So just the act of chewing is going to help bring mental clarity and help us become more centered. It also therefore creates more calmness, and you then feel more connected to yourself. And as you feel more connected, then you can handle and manage the stress and uncertainty of life, and you become then more conscious of what you're doing and why. Now, saliva is actually a very powerful substance in the body. It's a digestive aid. It has a pH factor of about 7.2, so it's slightly alkaline. So saliva helps make our food slightly more alkaline, and that helps create more alkaline blood, which then creates better health, stronger immunity, and then also greater resistance to illness. So these are all very powerful, important benefits of chewing. And so when activated by chewing, then the saliva actually produces enzymes that release hormones that boost our immune system. So the body is already designed to fully support us. It's just a matter of connecting with our natural functions like chewing, and then remembering to utilize them. So saliva will help break down complex carbohydrates, making whole grains, beans, and vegetables sweeter the more you chew. So my macrobiotic coach and teacher, Michio Kushi, the macrobiotic forefather, he used to always talk about if you slowly chew whole grain brown rice that's been properly prepared, like it's not tough, and it's properly cooked. And the more you chew it, the sweeter it becomes. And then, like you were saying, you start to actually taste your food. You start to realize how delicious pure food is without having to add all sorts of additives or sauces or sugars. I remember once a macrobiotic counselor was saying he was teaching some people in a workshop about macrobiotic food, and people said, well, what do you put on the food? And he said, your teeth. You chew the you chew the food. That's what your teeth are for. And in macrobiotics, we also talked about, let's say you take something really sweet like ice cream and you chew the ice cream for a while, you won't taste that sweetness. It won't taste that good if you actually chew it. So it really helps you connect with the value and the pleasure of eating healthy foods, of eating whole foods. So chewing does more things. Chewing actually helps intestinal function. So our intestines have an expansive, contractive force, the yin yang energy alternating through the whole body, called the peristaltic motion of the intestines. And so chewing helps to activate the peristaltic motion of the intestines. And this is so critically important to properly digest, to avoid constipation. If the intestines are too loose and expanded, then you can get constipation as well, in addition to the intestines being too tight. And so we want the alternating current of yin yang energy that moves through the body, that supports every cell in the body and biological function, to be fully utilized. And chewing will support that yin yang movement of energy, especially in the intestines. Chewing also helps to activate the circulation of body fluid and energy that we're talking about. And chewing helps to clear stagnation that causes physical and emotional congestion. So in Oriental medicine, they talk about stagnation being the enemy of health. So circulation, whether it's microcirculation at the cell level and the cell's relationships with each other and movement of energy and micronutrients, and circulation at the macro level of the heart pumping blood and body fluid and physical movement, is so critical for health. And the fact that chewing helps to clear stagnation, it's a very, very powerful benefit of chewing. And so what we want to do is, in the old days, we used to have time for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So like lunch hour and dinner hour. And we don't need to always sit with people. In macrobiotics, it's preferred to chew and not talk with your mouth full of food, right? Like your mother taught. Now, don't talk with your mouth full of food. So we want to enjoy our food.
Mhm.
The way we enjoy our food is to breathe and chew and have some quiet time. Even if you're having dinner at a table with people, if they want to talk, then we just chew our food while listening to our friends and family at dinner. And so there's nothing wrong with having a party or an engaged gathering. But when it actually comes to chewing your food, we want to remember to do that. And we can do that quietly while other people are doing whatever they want to do. That's but and one of the universal principles based on the yin yang Taoist macrobiotic principles is energy never lies.
Mhm.
And so we can, humans are very good at self-justification or talking themselves into something, but you can never fool Mother Nature. And so if you try to outsmart Mother Nature, then you'll start to feel it. So
Mhm.
even if you say, "Oh, I don't need to worry about chewing right now," or whatever, that's okay once in a while, but there's no you're not exempt from these principles that govern life. And chewing is a wonderful activity that you don't have to tell anybody about. You just sit and chew your food. And when I was younger and learning all of this, I remember having, getting together with friends and I had to learn how to chew properly, which is there's no big science to it. You just chew your food, breathe, and mix your saliva with your food. And realizing that everybody would finish eating their dinner in 10 minutes and it would take me an hour to chew. So I would sort of account for that. But I would feel so amazing, and I had to do it because I had such poor digestion from my deformed organs. But it's been the greatest gift to be able to learn about these very simple methods and tools to support our health at the deepest level. And then in terms of eating, to expand a little bit from actually the chewing itself, then the typical guideline is to not eat or drink anything 3 hours before you go to bed. Now, that can be hard in our modern lifestyle because of all the demands, on our daily life. A lot of us multitask and do a lot of things. But again, just be aware. Usually minimal an hour before we go to bed. We don't want to be eating or drinking anything. And if we're able to, then 3 hours. So no chewing. If you're going to be busy, 3 hours or 1 hour at least before you go to bed, to allow the whole digestive system to rest and for energy to flow throughout the body. So the typical guideline for chewing is when you start to try to chew everything 25 times before you swallow it. So you want your solids to be like liquid, and then you want to chew your liquids. And I think it was Gandhi that said to make sure that you drink your solids and chew your liquids, meaning chewing. Something like that. But and then you move up to ideally 100 times a mouthful. So it depends what you're eating. Like fruit dissolves quicker, so you wouldn't chew as much. But it doesn't matter what you're eating. The more you chew the food, then the greater potential for health and short-term and long-term health. So we're giving ourselves a leg up when we start to become really aware and conscious of chewing our food, breathing while we're eating, sitting down to eat. You don't have to sit at a table if you want to sit in a comfy chair, as long as you're sitting upright, feeling really relaxed. Try to have no attachment to the stressors of the day. It's sort of your special time in the day to eat. And then you feel really, as I was saying, you feel really grounded. It's like a reset to chew your food while you're having your sacred time for eating. And then you have a whole new kind of energy and perspective as you go back to the crazy world that we sometimes live in, or the demands of the day. So those are the highlights of the benefits of chewing. And again, it's there for us. It's a natural thing that all of us do, and it's free. And it can really help your health in phenomenal ways.
Oh, Lydia, that was just fabulous. It was such good information. I took all these notes because I was like, I did not realize that chewing helped your mental clarity and your calmness and to clear the stagnation. And oh my goodness, I'm like, and it just makes so much sense to me because I've always been more of a slow eater. I just don't eat fast. And I'm like, I brought to my mind, I got some strawberries yesterday, and I was like, oh my goodness, it was just like I had to savor that flavor of them. And kept them in my mouth. And yeah, they probably were liquid by the time they went down because they were just so delicious. It was so good to just savor that flavor. And I didn't even really realize all the benefits from doing that. And oh, this was just incredible. Such great information.
Well, and it really helps us reconnect, as we were saying, with the pleasure of your food.
Hmm.
And that I think there's like a slow cooking movement instead of like a fast food movement. There's a slow cooking movement, but now we can have a slow eating.
Yes.
So, a slow eating movement, but also chewing while we're eating slowly and savoring the flavors and allowing the food to digest slowly, because this will really help with blood sugar levels. Eating your meals at regular times helps with all the cycles of the body. To have regular bowel movements, balanced emotions,
Hmm.
even with menstrual cycles, blood sugar, as I mentioned. So, in the old days, as we're saying, there was a reason, for lunch hour and dinner hour, and it was to chew your food. I mean, it was easier maybe in some ways because nowadays most of us make our own meals. But you can make food in advance and prepare and, work it into your life the best that you can. And there's a lot of freedom that we have now that we didn't have in terms of all of that. But standing up and grabbing something, maybe for a snack once in a while, but to do that regularly. And as you said, sometimes you watch people and it's like, how did you eat that? Like, did you chew it at all? And then I'm always amazed how they're not feeling sick, right? Because
Uh-huh.
it was like a massive amount of food that you just ate, and I didn't see any chewing happening. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Well, and you said it so well, kind of like the more you chew, it kind of how I understood it was gives you the opportunity for better health. And it's like, oh, that makes it just resonated so much because it makes so much sense. And it's so simple. It is so simple. It is something all of us can do to help to better our health. And you gave so many examples in so many different ways how it helps better your health. So, yes, this was fabulous.
well, yeah, and again, it's one of these things that we often forget about in health and lifestyle recommendations, but is so very important. And now that everyone who's listening is aware, then we can add that into our life as an important habit and tool that's totally free, that will support us in achieving any health goals and in maintaining our physical, mental, emotional health.
Yes. Oh, definitely. Well, Lydia, I knew this would go very quickly, which it did. It was so packed full of great information. So before we do close, could you please share with our listeners the best ways to connect with you?
Well, absolutely. My website, aponahealing.com, and I have a free ebook there, 10 tools to survive and thrive in uncertain times that will help you manage your energy and stress and feel more centered, connected, and conscious. And one of those tools is macrobiotic healing foods. So everyone's welcome to sign up for that ebook and then join our email list where I send out information about health and a mindset. Also, healing with horses. So I address all my pathways for personal development through the aponahealing.com website.
Oh, oh yes, and I will back that up because the emails Lydia sends are just fabulous. They just so resonate with you. They're just really neat emails. You all need to sign up for them because they're incredible.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed them, Joyce. And I'm also on social media, the major social media platforms, and mainly Facebook. So my personal Facebook page is where I'm most interactive.
Mhm. Okay. Oh, fantastic, Lydia. Well, this was just absolutely a magically informative show, and I enjoyed it so much. And I would like to ask you if you would return again to a Robust Lifestyle show in the future and share more of the great information that you have inside of you from experiencing it and living your own life.
Well, I would love to. It's always an honor and pleasure. And yes, I have 30 years of nuggets, golden nuggets to share with everybody. So
Oh,
I would love to join you again, Joyce.
oh, thank you, Lydia. I would love to have you back on. And I want to wish you an absolutely magical day and magical times till you and I connect again on Robust Lifestyle.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. And I would like to thank all of our listeners for listening to this incredibly informative show with our absolutely amazing diva, Lydia, Lady Apona. Please share this show with your family and friends and check out all the other hosts and their shows on divasthatcare.com. And remember some of the golden nuggets that Lydia left with us, all the benefits of just chewing, how it's mental clarity and calmness and clears the stagnation and activates that energy. And remember that the more you chew, it will give you the opportunity for better health. And with that, I want to wish everyone a very magical day. Remember, be kind to all, including the animals. Give your animals that great big extra hug and share all your love with them as they so deserve it. Until we connect again on Robust Lifestyles, stay strong and healthy.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.